He was determined to change his fate. As a result, he starts to eat the raw meat while thinking he should eat it no matter how bad it tastes. He then gets punched in the face. The guy who punched him tells that fat guy to not come near him, and that fat guy's name is Murayama Nezoro. But even after hearing his apologies, that guy still bullies him by asking him on why is he fat even though he is an orphan, to which he tells to them that's too cruel, which angered the bully, so he gets in to punch him, and all of a sudden the guy stops that bully's hand by asking him to stop bullying his kids. Afterwards, he asks that bullies to tell it in his face about whatever they told to Nezoro. As a result, they ran away with a fear. After that, while walking, he asks to Nezoro if he is okay with them running away, to which he tells to them that he is okay with it since it's natural for them to bully him for being a fat guy. But then that guy says that being fat doesn't matter, but the heart he has does, and that's all. And he pats his head while saying that he is a good kid since he cares about others than him. After seeing him, Nezoro thinks to himself that this man right here inherited his parents' orphanage and he started to run it as a director, and also he took that fat guy onto the orphanage while he was still a kid after his parents' death. After seeing them arrival, other kids gets really happy and they ask them to play with them, and after seeing them play with that guy, Nezoro thinks that he is a dad to everyone. And all of a sudden a girl comes in and tells welcome to Nezoro, and her name is Tokuyuki Tsuguri. He then says he is back to her, but she was shocked to see him, and she asks to him if he got bullied again since his face got injuries all over it, to which Nezoro tells her to stop since it will make her hand to get dirty, which then made her angry for telling that. But then, to their surprise, a huge magic circle surrounds them, and in an instant, everybody vanishes. Afterwards, they gets up. In a different place, that guy then asks to them is they are alright. Nezoro then notices the knights wearing a different dress, and all of a sudden someone says sorry for summoning them. He then goes on by introducing himself as a king of a country. As a result, he tells thanks to them for coming here after the summons, which confused Nezoro. But then the king says they needs their help to defeat the Demon King, which then made Tsuguri to get a little bit scared. Meanwhile, Nezoro was thinking to himself that this looks like an anime story where a guy becomes a hero after getting summoned, which then made him to get blushed, since he can maybe become a great person like the guy that is running the orphanage. But then that orphanage guy says that he refuses to help them because they even got kids here. Afterwards, he goes on by asking that king to send them back to their home. All of a sudden, someone comes in and says sorry to them, which made him to get cautious, so he asks her to name herself, to which she replies that she is a daughter of the king. After saying it, she starts to explain to them that after getting summoned, they have no way to send them back, which made that guy to get angry, and he just tells them to stop dragging the kids into this. As a result, the princess once again says sorry, and she tells to them that they can't choose who to summon. As a result, it is randomized, which then shocked Tsuguri, because they were picked randomly. All of a sudden, that girl says that whoever gets the orb in the Demon Lord gets their wishes granted, which made Tsuguri angry, and she questions to the princess if she is expecting the kids to fight for it too. As a result, she replies it's not what she is trying to say, but for those people that get summoned here, always gets a special ability granted, and also those abilities are awakened when they reaches 15 years, so until they reach 15 they will taken care in the castle, to which Nezoro realizes that means the only people that can fight is tree people only. After hearing it, that king says that's right and they should touch that ball without a delay. And after receiving it, the king says open classes, and the class that opened to Nezoro was gluttony, which shocked him. Afterwards, that guy got a hot blood class, to which Nezoro tells him to look at his weird class. All of a sudden, the guards get shocked to see something, and even the king was shocked to see Tsuguri's class, which was Short Saint, but she was just shocked. And then the king shouts by saying that this could change the entire war. Afterwards, the king smiles while asking everyone to have a meal with them while having a talk. As a result, everyone started to run towards the door, leaving those two behind. But then Nezoro says that it's okay since this are the people that they have to rely right now. In the end, he accepts to just have a meal and listen. But then the king grabs their shoulders while saying that he has something to talk with them, which shocked them. But then that king says that they never heard of a classes called gluttony or hot blood before, which then made that guy to get angry once again. But that king goes on by saying that they just wishes to confirm something. Meanwhile, the guards behind them takes out their swords and attacks them with it, which then made a huge explosion, and then that guy asks to Nezoro if he is alright. But he just wakes up fine, which relieved him. Afterwards, Nezoro asks to him on where are they, to which he says that he doesn't know it either because he woke up here too. But to Nezoro's surprise, they were surrounded by lots of monsters, which then made him to realize that they got summoned in a dangerous place. As a result, he gets angry since it looks like an arena. And all of a sudden, the king says that he wants them to fight those monsters because they have to test their powers no matter what, to which they asks to the king on why they should do a test. To which the king tells them to defeat the monsters to prove that they are worth to be called as a heroes, which scared Nezoro, but that king just asks them to forgive the rudeness he is doing. In the end, they opens a door for a monster, which was a small slime monster, which then completely shocked Nezoro, and after seeing him he gets in front of Nezoro by telling him to stand back. All of a sudden that slime thing jumps in to attack them, to which he dodges it and lands a clean punch, but after seeing it the fat kid falls down, and that slime monster was defeated in one punch. Afterwards he asks to the king if he is satisfied now, so they can now get back to kids. But that king was silently watching them, but this made him to get angered. In the end, he tells to Nezoro that they will be leaving without the king permission, but then he was shocked since there was a big goblin standing behind Nezoro. As a result, he pushes him out of the way, but getting a clean hit on his back, which was really strong enough to throw him 10 feet away. After seeing it, that guy rushes in, and he realizes that he is knocked down. Afterwards, he asks the king to heal him, because it looks like he is about to die. But that king was still silent, and something comes behind him. As a result, he nearly dodges its attack, and he starts to run, and after seeing them, the king says the man who falls to mere orcs, and the kid who does nothing but running, they are truly worthless. But Nezoro asks to the king on what they should do, but then the king says it's kind of entertaining to watch this. He then goes on by laughing at them by saying it's really special to see a match where someone's life is at stake, which scared Nezoro after realizing the king's true nature. But the king was laughing really hard while saying it's like a pig chasing another pigs. As a result, he gets angry, since in any world he is getting mocked. But right after realizing it, the orc goes into attack, which he dodges, but that was a direct hit on his legs. As a result, he couldn't able to move. In the end, that orc comes near him. While he is hating himself for not being useful in any other worlds, after thinking about it, he looks at him lying in the ground, which once again makes him to get irritated because he couldn't even able to protect a single person. All of a sudden, he got scared to see an eyeball chilling in front of him. Suddenly, a pop-up comes saying that a consumption item is found, and it asks Nezoro to give confirm so he can consume it. Afterwards, he picks up the eye while thinking that thing is asking him to eat this eyes. And all of a sudden the orc comes in for the attack while he dodges it, which shocked him because it was really close. After realizing the fact it will be a game over if he doesn't do anything, he started to run, and he picks up the eyeball and he started to eat it, but then he quickly vomits it, but he blocked it, and he gets ready to eat more. Meanwhile, that orc was slowly getting near him, but to Nezoro, he was hating every second of eating the slime monster. And while he was eating it, the orc gets ready to attack him. But then his expression gets really serious while thinking that he will change, but then a pop-up comes saying that he successfully consumed a slime, but before he could react, the orc lands a headshot. And after seeing it, the king was really happy while saying it's the firework of a pig. And while looking at his body, the king suddenly realizes something, which was a hand that just formed out of nowhere. And it was Nezoro, and he was whining about the fact that his body just turned into slime, which shocked the king, and he comes to realization that Nezoro got the power of receiving the monster's power he consumed. But without getting happy, he just gets disgusted, and he goes on by ordering the orc to finish the job since Nezoro isn't fully killed, to which that orc goes in for the second attack, but then he comes behind the orc by putting a lock powerful enough to immobilize the orc. He then goes on by shouting at Nezoro that he should run away while being in the form through the drainage over there, which made him to realize that he cannot escape alone. But then he says that he can't come with him while he was saying that the orc attacks him, and he goes on by saying that at this rate both of them will be killed, And if the king realizes that the kid doesn't have the right powers, he might kill them too. So that's why even if it's just him, he should run away. Afterwards, while crying, he shouts at him that it's his last request, but then he hides his tears with a smile while asking him to save everyone in his place. He even says sorry to him for putting him in the spot, suddenly. And after hearing all of it, the king orders the orc to kill the pig for trying to escape in the royalty escape route. But it couldn't able to move because he was holding it off, but taking it as a chance, Nezoru escapes through the drainage. In the end, he comes out of the pipe, and he was thinking to himself that just like in the old world, he still couldn't able to do anything. With that, he realizes he is not a hero, not a survivor, but still he will change, and he will kill the king and save others. Afterwards, while he was crying, a sudden pop-up comes, and it says there is an update available for the gluttony class. However, with his current body structure, he can't handle the new update, so it tells him to change his body. As a result, he accepts the new update. Right after accepting it, his body started to show a lot of nerves that gives him a lot of pain G couldn't able to bear, so he shouts really loud, but the pain didn't stop because his skin is gone. As a result, he passed out and falls in the water. While he is drowning, it says the class upgrade is over, and his gluttony upgraded to Demon Devourer, but he gets washed out of the drainage. After that, he wakes up, and he was shocked to see his reflection in the water, since his body became really muscular. In the end, he realizes he is trapped in an enclosed kennel. He then quickly remembers the time where he got saved. As a result, he gets motivated thinking that he can't waste the life he gave to him. So he has to escape, but then while searching for an exit, he looks at a drainage pipe. As a result, he gets inside the pipe as a slime, and after coming in, he realizes it's really dark and he can't see anything. And while coming inside for a while, he sees a light, and after coming out of it, he realizes it's in prison, where the prisoners looks like they haven't seen light, like I didn't touch grass for a decade, which then made Nezoru to realize that he came inside a dark side of this castle. But then while Iz was wondering about it, someone says that something came which shocked him, so forms into his half-body while giving a stance to fight. But then the guy in the cafe tells him to not be on the guard, since it's useless to do it to a slave. But after hearing the word slave, he was shocked. But after seeing his reaction, that guy asks to Nezoru if he isn't familiar with slaves. But this made him to get more angry, since it's all because of the king. Afterwards, he gets serious, while thinking if it were to the owner of the orphanage, what will he do? But then he realizes that there is a key. After taking it, he quickly opens the door for the slave. But this made that slave to get really happy, but all of a sudden someone gives a sound which came from the other cell, and he asks to the old man if someone is inside the cell, to which that old man warns Nezoru to not go near it. But rejecting his words, he rushes in to save them. Afterwards, he shouts at the cell asking to them if they are alright, but to his surprise it was a girl covered with a monster. But then the old man says that's the cannibal plant, which is the monster, latched into that girl's neck, and they conducted experiments on her by putting it into her, plus that plan will attack anyone to protect its host. But after hearing everything, Nezoru gets more angry. But that old man just says it's an experiment to improve the military, or it might be just as amusement. But then he gets angry and he rushes into the cell. Afterwards, as he said, that plant comes in to attack him. In the end, he gets confident to attack that monster since he actually got a chance with his slimly body. As a result, he goes in for the attack and it bites out his hands. But without getting flattered, he uses his other hand to totally drown its head. Afterwards, he holds it off like that for a while. In the end, he realizes that he did it, so he decides to pull it out of her neck, but right when he pulled it, she started to let out a huge scream. After seeing it, he realizes that the plant's roots are really deep, but then she started to say something, and to his surprise, she asks him to kill her. She then goes on by saying the plant will regenerate as long as the roots remain intact, which is really agonizing for her to endure. And all of a sudden a pop-up comes in saying that it found a consumption target, which then made him to realize it's telling him to eat the plant. But he was confused since he doesn't know how to eat it, because he is in a slime form, but it says it is possible for him to eat it while being in the slime form, which shocked him since it read his mind. Afterwards, he asks it to tell him the way on how to consume it, to which it tells him to touch the target he wants to consume. But then she suddenly tells thanks to him. But after hearing it, he says that he can save her, and he goes on by asking her to trust him with her life. After hearing it, her eyes pops up. While she says yes, in the end, he touches the roots, while thinking he will wrap his slime over her roots, and after successing that step, he goes on for the second, which is covering all roots, but she started to scream. Afterwards, he realizes that the roots all over her is gone, which made him to get happy. After a while, he fully consumed the cannibal plant, and her face is fully cleaned. He then realizes that she is just sleeping right now, but after looking at everything, the old man just says it's an extraordinary power. And he goes on by telling to Nozoru that staying here is too dangerous. As a result, he slowly opens the door so they can escape before anyone comes. But that old man gets scared to see something. Afterwards, Nozoru realizes that she might not wake up for a while, so he decides to carry her and he tells it to the old man. But to his surprise, the old man is dead, and the guy holding him asks to him if he is the one that escaped through the prison, and after seeing the old man, he gets shocked. But then that guy asks to him on who is he. After asking it, he throws the old man down. Afterwards, he steps on the old man's face while questioning to Nozoru on how did he break in. But he didn't said anything. As a result, he tells to Nozoru if he won't answer, he will just kill him. After hearing it, the MC thinks it's the worst case scenario, but that guy rushes in and uses his sword to attack him, which was a clean hit on Nozoru. As a result, he was really happy, but then the wounds quickly heals back, which really shocked that hard, and he gets really scared. But then the MC realizes that it's his chance, and he reminds himself to not hesitate, and he should fight. As a result, he gets ready and rushes in, and he lands a clean headshot, to which he quickly gets happy since it worked. But to his surprise, he wasn't hurt at all, rather made him to get more angry. Afterwards, he thinks to himself that he never seen a humanoid slimes, so if he is a monster, all he should do is to attack the center core right at his chest. After hearing it, Nozoru realizes that is his own weakness. But then that guard comes in to attack him, which he dodged it. Afterwards, he goes on by attacking him consecutively, but he dodges everything while thinking all he is doing is being defensive. On the end, he gets locked in the wall. By taking that as in chance, the guard comes into the attack, which was a just miss for hitting Nozoru's magic core. Afterwards, he thinks to himself that he can't keep fighting like this, so he uses his another skill which showed fags in his hands, but after seeing it, the guard was scared. But then Nozoru's hands turns into a monster, so he quickly backs up. Afterwards, Nozoru rushes in for the attack. After seeing him, the guard goes in for the attack too, but after realizing the sword coming for his heart, Nozoru suddenly turns into a slime, which once again scared him. But Nozoru suddenly comes back and grabs it by his neck, and he started to grip it really tightly. But then he quickly takes his sword and cuts off his hands, which shocked Nozoru since he was almost there. Afterwards, that guy rushes in for the attack too, which Nozoru realizes that he is going to die. But then he drops the sword, which shocked Nozoru since he is kneeling in front of him, and he was shocked to see that guy's neck full of holes, and he comes to the realization that it planted the cannibal plant on him. Afterwards, that guy gets killed, which shocked him since he killed a guy. Afterwards, he started to breathe heavily out of fear, and all of a sudden that girl comes in and calls him, and she comes in by asking him on who is he.